What's up, guys, and welcome back to the 8th episode of the Online Trainer Show. So, in today's episode, I interview Zach Rocheleau from the Flexible Diet and Lifestyle. So, if you don't know who the Flexible Diet and Lifestyle, I would definitely just go and type it in on Instagram right now and start creating some amazing recipes because Zach has built an incredible business off of the back of just showing his love for food, showing his love for helping people transform their physiques and start to understand flexible dieting. I've followed Zach for years now, and you've really seen how he's gone from strength to strength with his business and also his following, his social media. So in this podcast today, we talk about everything related to how he has got to where he has got today, and just basically we go through step by step the process that online trainers now should really be looking to take with their businesses. So I hope you enjoy this one, and make sure you check out the Online Trainer Society, which is our free Facebook group on Facebook. So if you just type that into the search bar, it will come up. And also make sure you download our ebook, which is the Flood of Leads, which is the free ebook that you can get when you join the group, which is going to help you get more clients, get more leads into your business to hopefully grow a successful online coaching business. So enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Right, hello guys, and welcome back to the 8th episode of the Online Trainer Show. So today I'm joined by the macro magician that is Zach from the Flexible Diet and Lifestyle. For those of you that don't follow Zach, one, get following him because you'll see some recipes that are just absolutely out of this world. So it's really going to be good to dive in today about how Zach's got his business Flexible Diet and Lifestyle to where it is, and really built a brand from it as well. So how are you doing, Zach?
I'm doing super well, Jack. I mean, we go way back.
Yeah.
We go, it's pretty cool. It's cool to see your evolution and what you've been able to do and be able to make that transition. But yeah, whenever you were asking me to come on the podcast, I'm like, I know Jack, come on.
Yeah, oh God, it must have been probably about 3 years ago when I did my first show, and I started looking at your Instagram, seeing all these, the I think it was the Pop-Tarts at the time, the low calorie Pop-Tarts. And I was like, I'm going to make that after the show. And from there, just like seeing all the other recipes and seeing how you've grown the business, to where it is today. So it'd be great if you could give the listeners a bit of a rundown of, I guess, like a bit of an intro to yourself and where the Flexible Diet and Lifestyle is today.
Yeah. So the Flexible Dieting Lifestyle was created based on the idea that I selfishly needed a way to solve my own problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people in business, that's what they get into business for.
Yeah,
The successful ones, you don't see the money, you see a problem that you have, then you start sharing that with the world. And then you realize, whoa, there's a lot of people that have that same issue that I do. Then they start asking you to start sharing more and helping them. And then before you know it, you have a business.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the Flexible Dieting Lifestyle was a side thing. It was just something that I enjoyed to do. And it was escapism for me. And for me, I opened my own gym out of college. So I was 22 years old, and I built up this gym into a over 5,000 square foot brand new facility. Wow. Yeah. Very successful business, but it was running me into the ground. I learned so much doing it, but within 2.5, 3 years, it was just nonstop. Like I love training. I love that aspect of being able to take a unique individual, teaching them how to move, and then also looking at their whole life and reverse engineering and figuring out what are those common denominators, what are those big things that can lead to a big result for them. Yeah. And so, and that's from literally a 10-year-old all the way up to an 80-year-old. It's just being able to understand the principles and then being able to apply them to each individual.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to do, but I hated the aspect of having to be at the gym all the time and not having I was a slave. I was an employee to my own business.
Yeah.
And it was difficult. So I had about anybody that's ever been a trainer or has owned a gym understands that like the middle of the day is usually your time where you can get away. So you have your mornings and your afternoons. So I would train clients from 6 a.m. till about 11 a.m. I'd go home for about 3 hours till 2, come back, and then I'm there till 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So that was every single day. So the 3 hours in between, that's where I built the Flexible Dieting Lifestyle. And I've only been full-time with FDL since September.
September last year.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't realize. I thought you'd actually been full-time longer than that with it.
No, it was like my only full-time days where I was able to put full-time effort
Yeah.
was Sundays. That was it. So every other day was 2 hours, 3 hours a day, maybe. So that was, so there was no free time. There was none of that. It was
Yeah,
just, it
sure.
was hard. It was a lot of work, but yeah. And back in June of 2017, I sold my stake in my business. So I
Yeah.
sold GPA and then went full time with
Yeah.
FDL. So, yeah, so it happened as for me, I come from a background of my first touch of nutrition was paleo during that paleo craze. And then it was a blessing and a curse. It taught me a lot about nutrition in the sense of like I needed to be eating a lot more micronutrient dense foods, a lot more whole, minimally processed foods. But it destroyed my relationship with food. I saw food as good or bad. And so
Yeah.
it started that binge restrict cycle, and it got pretty ugly. And then I went back to the drawing board. I found new mentors in the space. I was John Berardi and Ryan Andrews from Precision Nutrition actually became very big mentors of mine. I ended up getting pointed in the right direction of Alan Aragon and that whole crew, Lyle McDonald, and they've taken a vested interest. So then I learned a lot personally from them, and then I started sharing it. And that was it just took off, but didn't take off in the sense of I went to 300,000 followers overnight, like a lot of people do. It was just a slow, methodical process, gaining qualified followers that really loved what I was doing. And there was nothing monumental. It's just every damn day showing up and putting out something new. And I think that's one thing that people can say is, damn, you're consistent. Like you're consistent. We've consistently seen new content and new stuff you guys have been putting out. So that's my biggest thing. And so fast forward to today, we are a team of 4 full-time. And then we have a few others on our team, like our accountant, our CPA, who are not. And then we have our graphic designer who will want to be full-time soon because of what we have coming and everything, but he's still part-time. But yeah, as a company, we're growing a lot. We are transitioning to a new phase where we want to focus more we want more of our revenue to come from flexible dieting education rather than just recipes. So we're moving to a company that focuses more on providing nutritional freedom rather than just recipes. Recipes are an extension of that, but we're looking to cover all ends of the spectrum, because if you don't understand why, if I give you the recipes, which are the what and the how, then that doesn't make any sense to you.
No, that makes sense. And would you say the recipes itself, that was the thing that really got FDL off the ground? Like,
absolutely. I mean, that's the biggest thing is understanding, swallowing your ego. It's not giving people what they necessarily need at first. It's giving them what they want. And so what that does is I figured out how to separate myself and then be able to get a lot of eyes, and then how to keep them around. And that was the biggest thing. And then once you have the hardest thing is building the audience. Once you have the audience, you can diversify, because then they know, like, can trust you, and they want to have more of what you have, and they start asking for more. And that's what we've been able to do. Now we're going to be able to dive into many different realms because we have a qualified audience that loves what we're doing.
Because that's something I saw obviously from yourself, and obviously with FDL you now do one-on-one coaching as well, don't you? I think you've got a team that handle the one-on-one coaching side of things. So would you say that only really started to blossom once you'd built that audience from the recipes, or would you say the recipes itself almost brought the one-on-one people in? Because for me, looking obviously at your Instagram, like with the recipes and stuff, in terms of obviously like one-on-one coaching, I wouldn't know you would do it itself. So did you build the audience from that and then get them onto the one-on-one coaching type of thing?
Yeah, because I mean, you just got to think as a coach, what's your lead gen? Like literally, what is your lead generation? My lead generation in a very visual world, which is Instagram, is my recipes.
Okay.
Cool. And it's going to move toward, and that's the biggest thing. It's like, okay, if you're known for one thing, let's use the example of my friend George, so Fitness IQ. So if you looked at his Instagram page, he blew up overnight.
Yeah.
But people don't realize him and Chris Elkins both blew up overnight. And so, but you don't realize they were at it for 4 years on Instagram going nowhere.
Yeah.
Literally going nowhere. They had 10,000 followers each. And then overnight they found something that worked.
Yeah.
And they leveraged the hell out of it. But what happened when they tried to start posting things that they posted before they blew up? They got no engagement. People didn't care. So what I would advise anybody to do, and that's what I've done, is I blew up and was known for my recipes, but not enough people were seeing my actual face.
Yeah.
And seeing me talking about things and me teaching various things. And so what I said was, okay, at least every 6 posts, I'm going to post something personal.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep that ratio, and then you can move to 2 every 6.
Yeah.
Then you can do half and half. You just got to make sure that you do a slow process so you're not just throwing it on them. You train your audience to expect certain things.
Yeah.
And you do it in a way that is just an easy transition for them.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, that's what we were able to do.
It's funny, like when you say that, of finding your lead gen and then just really nailing that, because it's funny because I think it must have been about 2 years ago now, I moved away from the food pictures. It was something that I was really into. I posted all the time pictures of my food that I was creating, and then I noticed this huge engagement drop suddenly, because now I wasn't posting about that. It was now all about more, I guess, information style stuff about me. And obviously now I've been doing that for years, like that's now becoming more popular. So yeah, it's funny, like as soon as you move away from what is popular, you kind of see the drop, or you should kind of just keep doing what works in a way.
Yeah, it's tough. I think a fine line is a transition period is huge.
Yeah.
Going from one end of the spectrum to the other, like that's a very fine line. You got to be careful, because people are following you for a specific reason. They follow because of something that you did. And if you start posting things that are completely the other end of the spectrum, then you're going to run the risk of not being able to transition them. So your true fans might stay, but you could convert a lot of those other fans into true fans if you do it in a way that you're able to not turn them off right away.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to see what you're doing, but don't just scare them away right away.
Yeah. That makes good sense. I kind of wish I did that a bit more. I've kind of gone past that period now where they're probably all scared away and I'm bringing in different people, but you live and learn. That's business at the end of the day, isn't it?
Amen.
I wanted to stay on the topic of, I guess, Instagram, and talk about how you distinguish yourself between being an influencer, which you are obviously, and also a businessman as well, because you're a fantastic businessman and you're a fantastic influencer. So how do you kind of distinguish between the two?
That's interesting. So there is a fine line, and that's a very thing that we've really tried to hammer on, is this understanding what types of content do you have calls to action and which ones do you not?
Yeah.
How often are you giving, and how often are you taking? So for example, what we've noticed is we are periodizing a lot of our things. We haven't asked for a sale in over 6 months by design.
Oh.
I have not asked for a single sale in 6 months.
Yeah.
0. Because we were rebuilding different things. We have different ways of gaining traffic and organic. We rank really, really high on Google, just through sheer grunt work and putting out great content.
Yeah.
And so that's been a good driver for us. But through Instagram, this is a multiple 6-figure business whenever I'm pushing all the time. So there's a fine line of, okay, do you want to grow your following or do you want to push money? Like, for example, there's a fine line. Like if I want to grow my following, which we've done our last 6 months, our organic growth has been unbelievable on YouTube and on Instagram.
Yeah, seen on YouTube.
Yeah, like we're going about 200 subscribers a day on YouTube, which is awesome. No paid traffic, 0. So how do you find that fine line? It's like, well, I would rather right now, we didn't push anything for 6 months. Our business sales did go down because we're not telling people to buy anything. Yeah. But we have a big launch coming early July, and a big launch coming in August. And then we have a big launch coming late 2018, it's like, okay, we've built that rapport to where we've done it the right way to where whenever we start asking, people are already asking us, how can we give you money? We want to give you your money. And so we've built that rapport and being able to do it because we just had patience. Live below your means. Don't have too much capital tied up into too many different things. Like, don't be fancy. Put your money back into your business. Save it. Like, don't spend on stupid shit. Like, and then, so then you can give as much as you possibly can, build that that audience, build those eyes. Then you can build so much rapport with them that whenever you come out with anything, they just want to buy it because they want to support you. That's it.
It's like that case of delayed gratification, isn't it? So you work, put content out, and then when you do have something which is new, which is ready to be bought, you usually see like huge influx of sales from it.
And this is super interesting. As an online business person, you have no freaking overhead. You have overhead if you want to be fancy. Like, to be honest, like, you have overhead if you want to be fancy. If you want to be like Christian Guzman or any of them and have really nice shit, like Christian works his ass off, that's perfect. Like, but his expenditure, how much money he's spending, is a lot.
Yeah.
So if you want to live below your means and not be fancy, then I say go ahead. Like, for example, like I'll be humble as hell right now. Whenever I was growing my gym, I was living with my parents until I was 25. Like, let's be honest here. How many people listening to this podcast want to live with their parents till they're 25 years old? It's like, I don't think a lot of people do, but do you want to do that up until you're 25 and then be able to have the freedom to be able to not have all this debt, not have all these, not have a house and a car that you have to pay for all the time, and have a job to pay for these things just so you can have those nice things to escape from your job. It's like, let's think about this. Like, before you buy something, okay, is this going to take away money from my business?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing when you employ a bunch of people on your team too, to be able to expand your bandwidth. That's a lot of money. That's salaries. Like, that's no joke. That's money that's coming out every single month. So that could be either a car, or you could be investing that in a person and somebody on your team to help you. So it's just, what are your ambition levels?
That's good. I think the listeners will take that piece of advice as like actual gold, because I think we've all got that, where you're building your business, you're getting more money in, and you've got that shiny object syndrome where suddenly you can now buy things that you couldn't buy before. So you start going out, you buy more and more, and then the realization is your business stops growing because you're not putting it where it needs to go. And it might be great for a month or two. You might have the new car or the new watch, but that doesn't keep coming because you're not growing your business. So that's good. So wanted to get into a little bit about your, I guess, the personal brand of yourself, and then also relating that towards the business as well, because obviously as an online coach, you're both, you're a business and a personal brand. How do you go about building a personal brand so you can then in time build your business?
Man, this is being your unapologetically like yourself. Like, that's literally it. People buy into you. Like, you got to realize that. So if you fake yourself, you're going to have fake followers. And you're going to burn out. But if you just share yourself and people choose to follow you, it's easy. It doesn't feel like work. You're just literally sharing your life. And then you're just happy to share some little tidbits that you have along the way. Like, for example, when I was growing my following, I was just sharing food that I was eating. And I was like, holy shit, I created this. I'm going to share it with everybody because I'm like blown away by this. And then it happened that I just started sharing it more and more. And then people were like, whoa, like, I really want to share this as well. And so I had no idea I was going to make a recipe book until people started asking me. I had no idea I was going to have a business till people started buying the damn book. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I remember from September to December of 2016, whenever I created my first book, we generated over 100,000 in sales from the book, a digital ebook. I was like, holy crap. I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, I was like, man, like, for something that I would wake up in the morning and I'd sold 10 books, I'm like, this is kind of cool. And then I'm having to be at the gym for 8 to 12 hours a day, like training clients nonstop. And I'm able to do that while I'm sleeping. And then I can have so much fun and be able to just use my creativity and then be able to engage with my audience and just be able, like anybody who knows, like I do care. Like I respond to as many DMs as I possibly can. I give people personalized. Okay, guys, this is an example of like doing something that is in the micro really small, but it pays off in the long run. If somebody comments on your post, don't respond with just thank you or something like that. Go click on their profile, find out what their first name is and say, thank you so much, insert their name. Do that. You would be amazed at how many people will appreciate that. It's not something that they understand that you're busy, but they understand that you're busy and that you would click on their profile and then say their name and put it into an actual comment. That makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that, you would be amazed at that little thing that takes a half a second longer. And it makes all the difference in the world. It truly does. And then if you take that mentality with everything that you do and repeat that over and over and over again, and just your intentions are pure. Like focus on, like, you might have some people that misunderstand you in the beginning. There's been a lot of people that misunderstand what I'm doing. They misunderstand that, oh, you cannot eat this. They don't understand the ingredients that I'm using that are all very, 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 very healthy ingredients that you would just eat separately and be like, oh, I'm eating really healthy. But when put together and put in a way that they look terrible for you, I'm called bad language because they didn't do the work and understand what I'm actually doing. I was like, I actually put the recipe right there if you want to look at it. So, I mean, it's just people don't like what they don't understand. So as long as you're focused on being historically correct, if you ask yourself, will I be right 10 years from now? Or will somebody look, if they don't understand me now, but 10 years from now, will they look upon favor of what I'm doing? Okay, cool. Because if you want to be a thought leader on what you're talking about and what you're doing, you're going to be early on in the process. And there's going to be a lot of people who do not understand it. And if you are part of the crowd and you try and stand out, then you're too late. So you have to be okay with a little bit of criticism and just know that negativity breeds negativity. So if you say anything negative, you're going to breed all those people that want to join on the pity party. Or if you start talking bad about other people, that's one thing you will never see me do. I don't talk bad about anybody, because once you start talking bad about somebody, you're going to start attracting people that like to talk bad about people.
Yeah.
And I just don't do that. The market will tell you if you're a bad person or not. People will figure it out. I just focus on what I can control, what I can do. And what I can do is put out positivity. I can put out my best end product that I possibly can. I can help share what I've learned along the way, help people understand that, like, finding your purpose and your passion and being able to do that on a daily basis and being able to hop out of bed in the morning so excited for the day should be the goal. And your body and your mind is screaming at you every single day. There's something that all of us have this feeling inside of us that, oh my gosh, like, I think this might be it, but we're not giving ourselves permission to do it. I believe we all have that. And I think that, I mean, that's my Instagram page. It's just like, that's it. Like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And that's what we're going with the company. And that's what we're doing. We're just going to go along that and just continue to provide value. That's what it is. And whatever that looks like, maybe it might not get the most engagement in the world, but if it provides value and I'm going to feel happy about it, that maybe one or two people got an end result from it, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's what you've based your whole Instagram on, and your ethos as well, is creating that flexible dieting, the lifestyle, which is again in the brand name, which is going to be able to change people's lives and help them move forward. So yeah, that was really insightful, and for sure, I think a lot of people will take a lot away from that. And I want to talk about a little bit about the Macro Magician Club, because that's a reoccurring service, isn't it? Which is it's basically where all of the recipes are. I think they get added to weekly as well. Just talk us through that really, and talk us, I guess, why it came about, like what brought the business, that side of the business on.
So it wasn't about reoccurring revenue. It wasn't the fact of like, oh my gosh, I love having this retainer, knowing that I have this money every single month. It was the simple fact that people were asking, Zach, how do I get these recipes in between recipe books? I see you posting on your Instagram, like, how do we get access to this? I'm like, I don't know how to build a membership site. Like, and so it was funny how everything works out. My now business partner and VP of FDL, he was one of the original members of a company called Caveman Coffee, which is a very, very, very popular company here in the States. And he reached out to me saying like he really wanted to be a part of this. He wasn't happy with how the culture of Caveman Coffee was. He just wanted to do something that made him feel good. And he just came on and just started helping me out with some things. And then he became a part of the business. And then he built out this membership site. And it was just literally a library of all my recipes in real time. If you saw it on my Instagram page, it was in the Macro Magician Club. And now what's funny is it's taking a facelift. Like it's going to be so cool. We've been really working hard the last 2-3 months, like just outlining out to where it's going to literally become a school of flexible dieting. Like it's going to transition to that, to where you walk in, you're like, Zach, I don't know anything about flexible dieting. Okay, cool. This is where we start. And it's going to be more of like an online course type platform that happens to have recipes in there as well. And so we take somebody on a journey. There's keyword searching. There's an app to where you can watch everything via the app, get access to everything via the app. And then, we want it to be a one-stop shop, a place where people can go and then they can have a community while also learning everything they need to know about nutrition, about the why behind nutrition, about flexible dieting, and being able to create a lifestyle. It's literally going to be based on, okay, how do we give somebody every opportunity to create a nutritional understanding that they're able to fit seamlessly with their dream lifestyle. So that's where that's going. But at its peak, it's an amazing thing. And we were able to have a recurring revenue between 20 and 30,000 a month on something like that we barely pushed, but it was just a service people love to have. They'd love to have access in between. And it just made it worth our while to be able to grow the business and be able to share that with people. And people were perfectly fine paying $20 a month for a service like that. So
they were getting value from it, and there's no reason why they would leave. They're getting the recipes each month. And there's probably a few listeners actually listening to this that have membership sites. So I guess they would probably want to know, this question is, what was the best thing that you've done to grow the Macro Magician Club? Like, can you single-handedly say there was one thing, or can you say you've done more of one thing which has pushed more people into the club?
It's honestly FOMO. Content. Like you got to come with fire. Like it's got to be consistent. I literally was posting 2 to 4 times a day, every single day for over a year. Like that's crazy. That's a lot. So my biggest thing is it's going to be consistent, being unique and solving a problem and then solving it over and over and over again. Like literally just hammering people. FOMO, because I'm posting, and they're like, damn it, I want that. And then finally they're like, cool. And then once they get in there, they're like, whoa, okay, cool. I'm not going anywhere. So, because most lifetime values of a subscription model is somebody's in there for, I think, a little over a month for most. You usually lifetime. Our lifetime was about 6 months.
That's good.
That's good. Like, and so that's a solid thing. So it's not tricking somebody. You can trick anybody into buying something, but what's the lifetime value of a customer? So if I have somebody paying $20 a month and they're paying for 6 months, it's $120. But if somebody's only paying me $20 a month, then you're in a rat race. So my thing would be, don't worry about getting new people. Just make the people that join the most special people in the world. Give them everything you got. And then they'll be your army to grow your following. You won't even have to work as hard.
Yeah, and that's it. And that goes for like even just one-on-one coaching as well. When someone comes onto your service, you make them feel like they are the most special person in your coaching service, and they'll stay. They'll stay for as long as you're coaching. Like I've got clients that I started with a couple of years back now, and they're still with me. And that's just because give them value, and I appreciate them, and just show them that they are, I don't take them for granted. So yeah, it's just probably what you do in the club.
being human.
Yeah,
Show
sure.
them everybody is human. And we live in a society where we miss that human element.
Yeah.
Be human, be vulnerable, help them out, let them know that they are being heard. Listen 80% of the time, talk only when you need to talk. And if only people on Instagram would listen more to what your followers actually want. Read their, like, while you have the time, if your following isn't that big, read all your DMs, respond to every damn one, and respond in a way that to each one of those is a potential client.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many of them have messaged people that they look up to, and that person has never gotten a response back. And you have an opportunity to create a rapport with them that will last a lifetime.
Yeah.
And if you look at every single one like that and you cherish it, that the fact that that person took the time to engage with your content, then, I mean, time is our most valuable resource. If you treat it that way, you're going to win. And it's going to get harder and harder as time goes, but that is a damn good problem to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good. I've been in that situation where I've got messages and stuff, but what I'll do is I'll just video reply to them. It's just personal. They're getting a video reply from me, and like I think the first thing they usually say back to me is, "Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that." Like they weren't expecting to have a reply even from video, let alone something that's in depth. So what you said there just definitely shows if you do that, be human. There's no reason why you can't build a good business from it. No reason at all.
Absolutely. I don't know how many times like I'll get a message, oh my gosh, Zach, can you record a video so I can send it to my husband because he loves, or my wife because they love your page and everything that you're doing, and I'll do it, and they'll like be freaking out, and then I'll get a message 6 months later saying, hey, remember me? I was the person that did this. Hey, I just bought everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Like, okay, well, cool. It actually works out in the long run. Like, it's like, you just never know. You never know. Or for example, like, hey, you did this for me 6 months ago. Hey, here's an intro to a company that you really would want to work with, or etc. And it's like, oh, I happen to be this person at this company. It's like, oh, okay, that actually is pretty damn awesome. You just never know. You never know. You can just control to be a good freaking person. Be a good person, because we live in a world where there's not as many good people as we think, or social media is exposing a lot more of these bad people. Thus, it makes the good people stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
And you just got to make sure that that's all you can control, and don't worry about anybody else. If you get shit, but your intentions are pure, that's okay. It's okay. It's just people just don't understand yet. Just keep being a good person. That's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah. No, solid advice. Solid advice. So, obviously, over the years, you've become very good at speaking on YouTube, vlogging, and public speaking as well. That's something that you're doing more and more of. I think you did it. Is it the LA Fit Expo?
Yep.
Yeah. So how did you get into that? Because I'm sure a lot of listeners here, online coaches, they want to voice their content, their opinion at these expos, but sometimes getting actually a spot to talk at an expo can be quite difficult. And as you probably know, it's great exposure. So how did you get into that? Was it something where you were approached, or did you approach them?
I was approached. But the biggest thing is through YouTube, through different platforms, through Instagram.
Yeah.
A lot of these people that with a high praise in these positions watch your Instagram story. They'll research you. They might find you on YouTube and they find a video where you speak really well.
Yeah.
And you articulate on a subject. And then they see, oh my gosh, you were with this one person that has already spoken there before. And then they say, oh, I'm going to research this person even more. They go to your actual Instagram and they see, oh, wow, this is really nice. Oh my gosh, he responds to his comments and he says the person's name. Oh my gosh, I like this person. He seems like a nice person. Let me watch his Instagram story. Oh my gosh, he's talking about marriage. He's talking about ways to be a good husband and good books to read. That, oh my gosh, I read that book too. Holy crap, that book actually changed my relationship with my husband and it saved my marriage. I think I'm going to have him talk at this. You don't know.
Yeah.
You have no clue. You have no clue what that person will resonate with. But if you're yourself, you don't put on this facade, you're just going to attract the right person, and they're going to be so happy because you're going to be that right person, and they'll give you an opportunity. People don't necessarily care what you're saying, but they want to know, are you saying it from the right place? what are your intentions? Nobody likes to be tricked. Nobody likes to be tricked or put one over. We like to be in control. So if I'm constantly trying to trick people, then once person gets tricked, they tell all their friends this person tricked me. But if I'm just doing it and up first they think, I don't know, but then over time they're like, I trust this person. And then they talk to a friend. They're like, yeah, like he did this for me. And then they talk to another friend. Yeah, he responded to my DM and answered this question. Yeah, I went to one of his meetups. Oh, I bought his book and I freaking loved it. Oh yeah. And like, he actually sent a message to my husband saying happy birthday. Like, it's just a war of like, just be consistent. Like, that's it. Like, and then everybody wants all these hacks and these growth tricks and everything like that. But it just comes down to like, is this a job or is this something you love to do? If it's a job, you're going to wear out.
Yeah.
A job is not being yourself. Like, let's be honest. Like, let's put this real concrete. If you are growing an Instagram following and it feels like a job, you are not being yourself. Or if you're building an Instagram following and it doesn't even feel like you're doing it, like it's just, you love it so much and you could do it all damn day, then that's your passion.
Yeah.
That's something that you're able to do. That is, I mean, I highly suggest everybody on here starts listening and watching videos from a guy named Seth Godin. He is the GOAT. He is somebody that, oh my gosh, if you want to learn how to think and understand that I read the Purple Cow. That's one of his favorite books. And it's just talking about the idea, like you go and you're driving by a field and you see one cow out there. You're probably not going to stop and look. You see 2 cows out there. You're probably not going to look. See 20 cows out there. You're probably not going to look. But if you see one purple cow out there, you're literally going to pull over the car. You're going to take out your cell phone, take a picture of it, put it on your Instagram page. Then you're going to send it to all your family. Then you're going to post it on your story. You're going to take a video. You're going to do all these different things because you saw a purple cow. And that is exactly what you want to do with your social. So that could be answering your DMs. That's becoming a purple cow because not many people are doing it.
Yeah.
It's being creative with your content and putting it in a way that helps solve a problem, but and solve it in a way that gets somebody a result and in a unique way that nobody else is doing. It's just many different things, but you have to really think about it. Okay. How can you be a purple cow? Mm-hmm. That's a super interesting way of looking at it.
That's going to be in the back of my head now every time I write out a post or film some content. This is a great way of looking at it because it really does make sense.
Let's look at it this way. How many Instagram girls are posting swipe features of their workouts now? To where like you go through your page, you're like, oh my gosh, another workout with courtesy lunges and step ups and glute bridges. And you know what I mean? Like that's all over the place, but who's going to be the one that comes up? Like how for the longest time, the X and check, like how many people were doing that? It's like, can you innovate and do something that nobody else is doing? Try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest thing. Who was posting protein Pop-Tarts on Instagram? Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah.
Nobody. Like that's what you got to do. Like you just find that thing. And then once it works, you just run with it.
Yeah.
You run with it. And then once that stops working, you find something else. And then you test and test and test. And then once that works, you run with it. And some things might work longer than the others, but you keep going. You just keep going. That's it. That's all you can do.
So obviously, I know you mentioned it when we were just speaking then about there is no hacks for growing social media. Obviously, it's finding the purple cow, as you said, and running with that. But talking about Instagram itself, do you have any sort of posting schedules, any story routines that you might follow? Because something that I found is like when I'm consistent with one thing on stories, I'll see more views go up. And obviously the same with followers as well. But do you have like a schedule with how you do things you talk about daily?
Instagram story, no. I just have certain things in my day that I'm pretty consistent with. Instagram posting, yes, because you have to think of when you're posting, what is somebody generally doing at that time and how will they see what you're doing? So for example, nighttime on the weekends, you're going with something that's like, okay, if somebody's at the bar and they're leaving the bar, what's something that they'd be like, damn, I wish I had right now. Like, let's be honest, like that's where somebody's really going to be receptive to that.
Yeah.
Mid-afternoon, a review of a product around 3 p.m. is usually a good time. Some type of post like that. A savory post around 3 p.m. is usually a good thing for us. Nighttime's usually where we go sweet because most people are craving sweet at nighttime. But yeah, we're usually a 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. posting schedule Central Time.
Yeah.
That's generally what works best for us. That'll vary for different people. We used to do 11 a.m., but we noticed that people are generally a little bit more busy at 11 a.m. Most people are at work at 3 p.m. and they're just ready to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And they're looking at their phone. So there's many different ways to do it, but you just got to test. You test and test and test, and you see what works best. And we found that those work best for us.
Yeah.
Posting for YouTube is generally 6 p.m. We don't really have a posting schedule, but we tend to shy away from the weekends, but maybe a Sunday night. But we usually go about a 6 p.m. Schedule for YouTube, and podcasting posts around 6 a.m. because I want people to have access to it early in the morning. So that's what we do for that, because most people are listening to podcasts on their way to work.
Mm-hmm.
So any others that we look at? So for emails generally pretty early, similar to like a podcast or something like that. I'm trying to think, we're on so many platforms.
So all the platforms going through now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of those things you want to create no friction for your audience to be able to consume your content.
Yeah.
So I would say that's generally our schedule.
Yeah. With your content, do you kind of create one big piece of content and then distribute it out throughout all of them? So for example, on YouTube, if you create a video about intermittent fasting, would that then feature as an email? Would that then feature as an Instagram post? Or would it really just kind of, does it differ for every
So what I'm finding to be the best way, and this was a recent, like I tried to do the outline and then video and then blog post, then strip audio, turn it into a podcast, strip that into multiple Instagram posts. Like there's multiple ways to do it. But what I found now is if I write a very detailed blog post that is just like, if you can explain it in words in a blog post like setting, then everything else takes care of itself.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to cover all those details and write a 3,000 to 5,000 word, like really beautifully, like then I can take those details, make more of a summary of that for YouTube, not like an incredibly long video. Then I can strip that audio, put it onto my podcast. Then we can strip those individual parts of the post into, I can send those to my graphic artist, my graphic designer. Then he can turn those into graphics that we can put on Instagram, and they're going to be in our new online platform. That's going to be a makeover of the Macro Magician Club, so people can use those as well. Then we're able to say, for example, if I put out I'm just giving you guys all the different ways that you can gain people's attention and provide value. So if I put out a video about intermittent fasting, then we take that blog post, turn it into a cheat sheet, a downloadable PDF that somebody can give us their email address in the description, and then they have that. And then before you know it, you're like, whoa, I have a lot of attention in different places.
Yeah.
And you're able to, and then we created a checklist that people can, for that post that we put on Pinterest. And then we post that blog post on Medium, and then it's on our blog post as well. And so we get SEO traffic from that. So and then you can look at it this way. You can take that, and so say you write 7 posts, you can turn that into a little ebook. That could be a crunchy little nugget that you can add as a swipe up on your Instagram page to have people gain their email address, and then them have a first build rapport with you, and you can provide value to them. Or it could become a guide that you give to your clients whenever you you bring them on, and it could be a way to provide value. Or it could be a lead gen for speaking engagements and an outline for a talk that you will give eventually in the future. Like, holy shit. Like, it starts with one great piece of content and then distributed based on, I didn't even talk about Facebook. Like, there's so many different ways you can go about it. It's just understanding, okay, if I write one really good piece of content, what's the one thing I can do to where we can strip everything and it turns into something else? So for example, Gary Vee likes to do video, but he doesn't go incredibly detailed. He's very like, hoo-ha, like over the top, like he's going to give a lot of like not very tactical things. He's just going to more mindset. But if I want more tactical, like details. I'm going to start with a blog post. Then I'm going to go video. Then I can strip from video to audio. Then I can have all the details from that in the actual blog post.
Yeah.
So that's what I've noticed. Like this morning, I wrote a blog post comparing the public school education in the United States, which was created by the industrialists whenever we had a culture of factories. And we wanted in 1918, we made school mandatory by the government. Why? Because there was too much factories hiring child labor because it was cheap labor and not enough adults were getting jobs. So what happened was they had to create a law because the GDP, so gross domestic product, that's an economic term of how much for capitalism in the United States, how well are businesses doing in the country, how profitable is the country, et cetera. How is the economy doing?
Yeah.
So it's based on the fact that if our businesses are doing well, then our economy does well. So these business owners were like, well, we're going to have to spend way more money on adult workers and kid workers. How can we meet in the middle and figure this out? So what they did was they created a public school system that trained kids to turn into really good factory workers once they turn 18. So what do we told when we're 6 years old, when we go to sit down, shut up, listen to the person at the front, take directions, don't ask too many questions, get really good at taking orders and everything like that. And so what happens by the time you graduate, you're not allowed to ask why. Your imagination, stop, pay attention, stop imagining, stop dozing off, stop like looking off into the sky. And it's like, what the hell? And so then when you look into it, why do people want to use meal plans as much? Why do people want to follow these diets with all these rules? Well, it's because we were trained that way.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how we were trained in school to think, because we're not told to think, we just take orders. And that's what a factory worker does. And so I just wrote a pretty long post on saying it's not your fault. We were all in this tough position. And it's a super interesting analogy. And why these diets really people want to gravitate towards. They don't want to have freedom of flexible dieting and understanding the why behind nutrition. They want to be told, hey, you need to do this, 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 and this, and not have to think, because thinking is hard only because we were never taught how to think in school. We were just told orders, and we were taught how to take orders.
Yeah. And I'm guessing from that, you'll probably have a YouTube video about meal plans. There'll be an email about something to do with how to create a flexible diet and meal plan that week. And
you can see that's a 3,000 word post that can be translated into many different things, like crazy. And so I think this would be a really good example for your audience. And it's something that I'm fascinated by. So Thomas Edison, the guy who created the light bulb.
Yeah.
So he had a famous quote talking about, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found out that creating the light bulb had 1,000 steps. So if you think about it, guys, as you're growing your Instagram account and what you're doing, you're growing your online business. Think of it this way. Each day you need to take one step. And if Thomas Edison took 1,000 steps to create the light bulb, I guarantee if you take 1,000 steps, take one step in the right direction, you might fail one day, but you learn something new. Each day you take a step. That's 2.7 years. That's less than 3 years. And then you create something that is the equivalent of the light bulb in your life. And then, wow, you have the rest of your life ahead of you.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, 2.7 years to a lot of people who don't really want it, that seems like a long time. But when you think about it, as a lifetime of doing what you love, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that's nothing. So that's, I actually had that like this morning, and I used that example in the actual post, because I wanted people to understand, like, if you want to achieve greatness, like, it takes time, but in the grand scheme of a lifetime, it's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Literally a blink of an eye. Think about taking a Fitbit. Taking 1,000 steps is nothing. You take 1,000 steps in a day, your need isn't very high.
It's gonna be awful. NEAT is gonna be non-existent.
Yeah, zero.
Awesome. No, that was another piece of gold there. And like you said with that light bulb thing, you work towards finding that moment And it's just like with Instagram, it's just like with Facebook, YouTube, you'll keep putting out content and eventually something will come of it. Eventually you'll have that spark as such. So yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. So with the flexible diet and lifestyle, if you were in a position where you had to build it from the ground up, what would you start with? Like, where would you go? Because I think a lot of people, they see these businesses like flourishing and in the place they are, and they don't realize the graft and the groundwork that's got to where it is today. But in today's market and how today currently is with social media, what would you do? What would be the way you do things? Would it be,
as in like what platform would I use, or what
yeah, like
content
platforms, the way you'd advertise it? Would it be pretty similar to what you do now?
No advertising. It would literally be in the sense of what I mean was I'm not paid advertising, but I would not put my content out like an advertisement.
Yeah.
I'd put my content out like I care.
Yeah.
So I would literally look at the aspects of my life that I personally think are valuable, and I just start sharing them. And if I get one DM, I respond with that person with the best DM back. If I get 2 DMs, I repeat that process. I go and I engage on other people's content. I comment on every single one of Jack's posts, and I say something that adds value to the conversation. I do that with a bunch of other people that I look up to. I become known as somebody that comments on those posts, and I engage. Then I build rapport with that person because I'm always engaging on their content, and I just don't ask for anything. Just continue to do it. And I repeat that process, and the same people that comment on those posts will see me. And then before you know it, you're going to have a community of people around you that you talk with and engage with on social.
Yeah.
And who knows, those people might blow up as well. But it comes down to continuing, just listening, what does well, what doesn't do well. Doing that through Instagram, I think, is the biggest platform right now and the best one to start with.
Yeah.
I think, especially with online business, share your story. I highly suggest, if you are a little bit overweight, getting a little bit leaner, sharing that whole process. Instagram is very visual. Don't be scared to take some shirtless pictures because they do really well. And I mean, that's it. Don't be scared to write a long caption. Don't be scared if nobody comments on your post. It's okay. Focus on being historically correct.
Yeah.
And just know that you only lose when you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest advice would be, don't spend your money on dumb shit. Like, don't save your money to where you can win out the long game. Like, don't you spend your money like you're never going to run out of money, in the sense of like, spend it so wisely that you can make your money go as long as you possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. Great piece of advice. For sure. I mean, we've all been there in that point with the money where you feel like you can spend it, but like you said, not, I guess, getting that where what we said about earlier, the shiny object syndrome is just avoiding that if you can.
What happens is, if you are focused on money and you're so money driven because you don't have any money, it shows in your content.
Yeah.
You look desperate.
Yeah.
You look desperate, and that's a hard thing. That's a very hard thing to see. And yeah, you just want to make sure that you be careful not to put yourself in a position where you have to sell out.
Yeah, no, great piece of advice. And just to wrap up before, because I know you've obviously got a tight schedule, what is the plans for FDL, like, going forward? Like, obviously we spoke about the flexible dieting club that you're looking to do. Is there anything else which is sort of in the pipe works at all?
We have our the flexible dieting book of recipes 5.0 launching July 10th, which is one of the most proud things I've ever created, which is a culmination of these past 5 years, putting in all this work and effort, thousands upon thousands of hours. And yeah, this is a culmination of all that. It was a lot of mini iterations. It's the best of the best.
Yeah.
Best I could have ever done. So, and it'll continue to be better, but this is the best thing I've ever put out there. 100,000%. So I'm so excited for that. We're doing pop-ups around the country. So if I get enough from the European market, I would love to come out there and do some stuff. So that would be cool. So we're doing pop-ups around the United States. One day, they're 2 days, few hour seminars each day. So one's going to be focused on flexible dieting, and the next one is going to be focused on cooking.
Yeah.
And so it's combining those two. So we're locking in a bunch of cities around the country, which is super exciting. 2019, I'm putting this out there because I want to hold myself accountable. We're looking to open a small location.
Okay. Cool.
Serving actual recipes out of. We would love to be able to do that.
Lovely,
So
yeah.
that would be a really cool thing. I'm putting it out there more and more because if I don't put it out there, we will find something else to do. And I want to make it happen because it's something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's something that would be extremely cool. It would just be it'd just be really damn cool.
Yeah, I'd love to walk out of the gym, like Gold's Gym or something, and then go next door and get myself a protein Pop-Tart.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, it'd be so fun, and I'm fascinated by being able to do that. I'm looking into finding some mentors who own big restaurants around the country and being able to learn from them. And go in and just maybe for a day or two, go and be a part of the process and learn from them. So that's something that I'm really fascinated by, and we'll see where that goes. But that's 2019, mid to late, I would say. Here in Austin, Texas, we're looking at. But yeah, man, it's fun. We're just trying to evolve. We have a physical product coming to market late in 2018. So a physical product in the sense of it's a food physical product.
Okay.
It's something that we've been asked for a very long time. I cannot disclose any details on it yet, but it's going to create a new category in the health field.
Okay.
So, and the goal is we would love for it to come to the UK. So we'll see. It would be super cool, and you guys will all be learning about it.
So many exciting things. So many exciting things. Yeah, I can't wait to watch, mate, and see how it all unfolds because I'm sure you're going to smash it. So, that was awesome, and thank you for coming on. It's much appreciated. I know your time's valuable, so I really appreciate you coming on, mate.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, man. We go way back. I've seen you around for a long time. We've been in touch for a very long time. I'm happy to see that you're doing well. I'm happy to come on and chat with you. And it's only the beginning. Only the beginning.
That's it. Yeah. Awesome. So that wraps up the episode today, guys. So obviously all of Zach's information will be on our website. So we'll have all the links to his Facebook, Instagram pages, websites and everything. So if you want to check out more of Zach, obviously be sure to check out the show notes as well. That's pretty much the episode wrapped up. So again, guys, hope you liked it and like the podcast, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, Zach.
Thank you.